Hey guys, Nick here.
What's going on, y'all? Zach here,
We're just two guys trying to make the world a better place.
and welcome to the Doors.
Go ahead.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Doors. I am Zachary Otts,
I'm Nicholas Sternloff.
and let's open up some doors today. So today's going to be a little bit different. We're going to do a kind of a special podcast based upon Labor Day. And Nick, I know you've been reading a lot of books, man, about JFK and about our previous leaders. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I found honestly with the presidential election coming up, I've found that one of the things that I should be doing as an informed citizen is to really be doing my research and look and research past presidents and past political figures that I think that are fantastic. Um, my grandfather is a collector of books, and he has 10,000 books in his house, literally 10,000 books, and then has a bookstore that is even more. It's wild, but he collects books, and he had these books that I found really interesting. I was up in his attic, putting some of his guitar cases away, and I found this. It was like 3 volumes of JFK's presidential recordings. And there's
Really?
something really interesting about this, but I can get into it after it. But basically, I've been I want to start researching all these different presidents and what made them great, and honestly take away what I can. Because at the end of the day, who doesn't like? My whole goal is to be a great man, a great human being, and so I want to study some of the greats to do that.
Yes, sir. I mean, that's how you have to be. And did you know that Labor Day was actually invented by a carpenter? He was a labor union leader, and he came up with this idea for Labor Day to honor the American citizens, those people that are essential workers, those people that are working really hard. And he brought it across the New York
Hmm.
City Central Labor Union in 1882, and they were like, "Yeah, I think this is fantastic," and that's kind of how it started. So it's people like that, man, that really step out of their
Well,
box and try to
that's
do.
really interesting, honestly.
Uh huh. Very interesting. Most people don't know the history behind it either.
I mean, I didn't, but
Well,
I mean, I think there's so much. I mean, again, going into like the books that I'm reading right now, like JFK back in the 60s, 62, he's implanted secret recording devices in the president's office. And that's what I'm reading about. But I think there's so much detail behind things that people have no idea about. Like, again, if we're going in, no, like I had no idea that Labor Day was based off of a carpenter based in 1882, just like you just said. But it brings special meaning to different things. Like, I know that a lot of people aren't working today. A lot of people
hmm
are getting time to spend with their families and friends, and that's always a great thing. That's always a good time to be able to take some time off from working and be able to do that.
well,
How
and
you
it's really
been, man? What you been up to lately?
oh, bud, it's been great. You guys know that I moved back into the country. I've kind of bought a tiny home and I've been remodeling it. So I just got my steps and all my trim work done. It's really coming along. Other than that, man, I'm still studying for my NASM exam, so I can hopefully step out and be branching out into personal training. And other than that, man, just working every day and moving forward as best as we can.
Damn right. I started a new job on Tuesday. I'm back to being a server in the restaurant industry.
Hey,
Listen, it may not be my favorite thing. I love talking to people. That's great. Listen, but I'm starting to make money again, and I'm really continuing to make moves. I'm gonna tell you all my plan right now. I'm gonna tell you all my plan. I'm gonna go.
uh-oh, here we go.
I'm gonna go super scientific deep into what I want to manifest in my own life. Listen, so I've been really studying marketing and sales for the past couple of weeks because I feel the foremost traits that I need moving forward to accomplish the goals that I want to achieve is marketing, sales, communication, and entrepreneurship. And having those 4 skills is what's going to allow me to do that. And I think that everyone needs a base understanding of what skills they need to acquire or become better at to really understand to make how to make moves and continue to open the doors in their own life. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Well, you got to know what your strengths are, man. You got to play your cards right. It's a big kind
Well,
of
exactly.
big game of chess. Like you got to have specific tactics and know enough about yourself to know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and move forward on those.
It's almost like a big game of chess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's exactly
And
what it's like.
but using those four skills, I'm looking to yeah, but using those four skills, marketing, sales, communications, and entrepreneurship, my whole goal is, again, we're going to grow the doors into a bigger media company and end up, the whole goal is to start the acquisition of other businesses, or tying in other businesses to what we're doing, revamping them, and then honestly taking away a piece of revenue, and
Yep.
in a better management system that understands how to reach niche markets better, or communicate their need in a way that they didn't before, and end up making more profit than what they were doing.
Yep.
And I mean, I really, one of the whole goals I'd really like to get into. I don't want to get into stocks. I have 401k already. What I really want to get into is almost venture capital investment funds, which is, they've just came out with this new thing called rolling funds, which is a very really interesting way to do it. But if you win big on that, if you win in the correct way, you can 100 times, 1,000 times their input of money you put in there.
There are many ways, man, to make money.
And that's wild.
And especially at a younger age, kind of like where we're sitting at now. And for you listening, it doesn't matter really what age you are. There's a million ways for you to make money. Just make money doing it the right way.
Exactly.
And
You're
as long
right.
as you work hard, man, it'll come back on you.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we want to hold true to our virtues and morals. And you don't want to sit there and like almost look down at yourself for the things that you're doing and how you're accomplishing them. But I mean, I just laid out to you guys one of the ideas of a plan that may or may not work for something that I'm trying to move into. But it's important to really sit back and I try to understand the movements that you might take in order to accomplish some things that you have. That's a goal I've set. Like,
Mhm.
I know that me and Zach have a goal to continue to grow the doors into something that's amazing, but my goals don't perfectly match up to his. Like, I guarantee you, Zach, that you have a plan of your own that coincides with what this doors is doing to accomplish the goals that you set out for yourself. Am I right?
Yeah, you're completely right, man. And some of those goals that I'm actually trying to accomplish, like that's why one of the reasons why I branched out into like the personal training field. I eventually want to
Mm-hmm.
pursue like life coaching as well, because I believe it's all about helping people, man. It's all about helping each other, uplifting each other, and if that brings me some sort of profit at the end of the day, that's great. But if not, then I'm gonna work hard in order to have the things that I need.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of weird, man, because when you and I started this, me and Nick literally said we wanted to affect one person. That was it. And then we affected one person. And then now it's like any person that ever, gives us any feedback that, hey, this is helping change my life. Like, hey, I loved your quotes. It's so fulfilling, So even regardless if this went nowhere, which me and Nick have sights set for the sky on this one, don't we, Nick?
I mean, yeah. I mean, like, what's great about what we're doing through the doors too is it allows our input for our own personal goals, as well as moving towards a niche goal of each other. Like, I'm more into communication side, and then he's more into physical training and different things like that, and mindset coaching. But at the end of the day, we're both moving towards a place where people can successfully become more successful in their own lives, or as well as just be happier in what they're doing. But it almost niches down to a place where we both want to be speaking in front of thousands of people 5-10 years down the road. And that's what's so special about this, is that we're two such very different individuals, but we're coinciding our dreams and ideals to make movements to become greater in the future, to do better things now. You know what
Well,
I
and you
mean?
know what's crazy? Yeah, it's wild, Nick, because like I had a conversation with someone the other day, and we were just going back and forth on the moves that I was making, and he said, I I wish I had the drive that you had, and I said, well, you do. Everyone has the ability. Everyone has the same 24 hours. It's how do you prioritize your time? Are you aware of what you're trying to accomplish? You know, and then you have to have a vision for the direction that you want to go. And I think
Yeah.
people misconstrue that is they lose sight of that vision at the end of the day. And if you're not living for what you're trying to achieve, then it's never going to work. You know, you see a lot of this, especially,
Exactly.
with addicts and stuff like that, man, where they say, yeah, I'm going to change. And they even make the first step to do so. And then they're so uncomfortable that they have to take a step back. And then they fall right back into that bad state of living. And that's just one example. That could be related to business, sports, athletics, in life.
Well, I mean, if you look at it, it's the same. You can put it into almost any circumstance. That's I was talking to my dad recently about it because I mean, my whole goal. I just told you the four things, the four skills that I want to work on. It's marketing, sales, communication, and entrepreneurship. I think that the position that I've just gotten as a server at this local restaurant is a great step into at least making money. I'm going to be communicating regularly to the people that I'm serving, and I can make connections based off of that. And I'm gonna use that as my step up for this job. And luckily, I'm making a good amount of money. But in the long run, one of the things is you don't want to get sucked into that market because at the end of the day, I don't want to be serving for the rest of my life. It's the same thing that
Hmm.
you're just talking about. You get stuck in these almost you get addicted to the circumstances you're in, and if you like for the past 2 weeks 3 weeks I've been applying to jobs redonkulously. I mean, my whole goal assigned, again, I just talked about the acquisition of different markets and different businesses, but right now I'm looking for a mentor. I'm looking for someone that I can go and work for free for and learn everything they know. And I want that to be in one of those four different skills, which is again marketing, sales, communications, or entrepreneurship. Luckily, I already have a degree in communications. I feel like it always could work on better communication though. But in those four fields, I've been emailing, messaging people that I find fantastic, millionaires, people that are just very interesting and have a lot of knowledge and skill. And I know it hasn't. I haven't got anything back yet, but I know that eventually I'll find someone.
Well,
But
you remember,
that's
man, we've always talked about, like, especially for people who don't have like good mentors growing up, like you need to find someone. Your journey is going to be different than theirs, but there's a lot that you can take in if you just look. And I feel like
yeah,
a lot of people, Nick, they don't even take the time to look because life will give you lessons, life will give you, wisdom, and it will give you strength as well, but it's going to give you situations that will give you those traits that you're looking for. It's not just going to be handed to you.
yeah. Well, I agree completely. But if you so like look at this, if a good representation of it, I was watching a psychedelic documentary on Netflix last night, and one of the girls was talking about what I learned from acid was that if I have to get to from point A to point C, like what acid taught me is that I don't have to go to point B. I can just jump to point C. And I'm not saying skip things in life. I'm not saying do psychedelics. I mean, do what you want. I'm a big supporter of living a free life. I think psychedelics can help you change your life, but in better ways, as long as you don't abuse the actual substances. But what I think is important is that going from A to C, that travel, that distance, that path that was just taken can be applied to different situations as well. So like I love the fact that of course I can go out and try to force myself to learn these things and go through the struggles and strifes to accomplish things that others have already achieved. But guess what? That's going from point A to point B, and maybe you won't make it to point C. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go sit there. I'm going to find someone who's been in a successful business. I'm going to find someone that's been a successful entrepreneur or has one of these skills, and I'm going to be like, look, I want to work for you for free. I would love to have the knowledge that you have. Can you work with me to help me attain the knowledge and skills that you have?
Hmm.
And you've seen it all over the place. You've seen it throughout time, throughout history, that people find mentors, and that's the step up that people need. That's
Yeah.
the step up that's gonna let make that. That's not gonna make me, but it's gonna help me become more successful and live the life that I want to live. And I'm going to strive towards it, which means I'm going to go out and make sure I'm emailing, messaging people, trying to build connections in a way that is going to help me again go from point A to point C faster or in a more reasonable manner. It doesn't. It's gonna come. I don't. It might take time. It might not. But as long as I keep working towards it,
And don't lose your faith either. Like a lot of people forget that they're so much more powerful than what they believe. And if you
Damn
just
right.
have faith in yourself, faith in that this will work out no matter what. If you're in a bad situation, repeat those affirmations. Even this too will pass. Fill yourself with good things. Read good books. And give yourself a fighting chance. Because at the end of the day, you have to live with the same attitude and the same expectation every single day. You either one, change it to the vision of the reality that you want to live, or two, you're just going to continue on that autopilot that we talk about, Nick.
Yeah. I mean, he makes a really, really great point in two parts right there, which is number one, having a faith in yourself, not just faith in your own religion or whatever your beliefs or whatever, but having faith in yourself, meaning that you can be true to your actions and the goals and things that you have inside, so you can continue to better yourself. I said it in one of our first podcasts: is I'm making moves right now so that future Nick can look back and be proud of the person that he was, because damn, I'm living a good life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
exactly. And number two, I was listening. If y'all don't know who David Goggins is, go fucking watch some David Goggins and get your life right. But one of the things he had on the other day is he runs 20 miles in the morning. He gets up probably 3, 4 a.m. and runs 20 miles each day. Motherfucker's a hard ass. Fucking badass motherfucker. If you haven't heard his story, go read his story. But he was sitting there and he was talking about how he felt like he was getting tired. He
Yep.
felt like his body was breaking down. He felt like he couldn't do it anymore. And then he sat there. He's like, "Yo, I sound crazy." What he did is he recorded himself and he said it out loud. He said, "I'm getting tired. My body hurts." He goes, and then he played back the video to himself, and he goes, "I sound like a little bitch." But look, here's the key lesson that I took away from this is that day I was really upset because I didn't get enough sleep. Um, I wanted to do some things there today, and I ended up going and grocery shopping. Took longer than I expected, and I got really annoyed with my dad because I got to spend time with him grocery shopping, and I wasted half my day, which I wasn't planning on doing anything anyways. And
Yep.
so when I sat there, I sat in the car. I got home, and I was like, I was grumpy in this mood. I watched that video, and I was like, fuck, and I was like, I'm grumpy that I got to spend my whole day with my dad grocery shopping, and that I didn't get to sit on the couch and watch TV. And I said, I sound like a little bitch. But like that's a key lesson too. You got to be truthful. You got to take a step back from the situation you're in, and if you're going to make moves upon your success, you have to realize where you're at and be true to yourself.
Yep.
Because if you're not true to yourself, you never accomplish what you want to be.
Woo! Lay it on them, Nick. Lay it on them.
Whoop-ah!
You
I just judo kicked your throat.
yeah, it's a freaking judo chop, man. But you've got to find that inner voice, man. That inner flame that's burning inside you. What do you want to do? And then why do you want to do it? Because so many of the times it's not the actions that we do, but it's why we do things.
Yeah.
And it's so powerful, Nick, that you know, especially looking back on where the doors has started. This was something that Nicholas and we had kind of planned out for a little bit, but we really had to sit down and distill like a vision towards it. And I think that's one of the hardest things that we've had to do was putting that vision to it and actually defining the niche market that we want to reach to. Because I
We're
think
still
it's
defining it.
broad, yeah, and it constantly changes each day.
But that's where I sorry to interrupt you, but I think that's where like a really good businesses and people that understand how to reach their markets, their consumers effectively, do constantly. They have whole departments, whole people. The whole thing on their mind is how can I effectively reach these people? What can I do to make sure I'm bringing the most value to my audience, to the people that really care about what we're doing?
We talked about in everything is impossible until somebody does it. Episode 9 of the Doors. If you haven't watched it, check that out. But we went over these rules to success, and they were: trust yourself, break the rules, don't be afraid to fail, don't listen to the naysayers, work your ass off, and give back. And
Mm.
it's just crazy, man, because we've really been going back and trying to live this, to live through these experiences. And I think it's something that everyone can take away from is if you really want something, you want something deep down, and you can visualize it in your mind and just put tactics to it, man. Put how you can get there and just go after it. Having that first step will always be the most important because it means that you're acknowledging that you're on your way.
Well,
It's,
once you take your first step, you've already accomplished something.
yep. Yes, sir.
After that, all you got to do is just keep going. You have Newton's laws of physics. An object in motion will stay in motion unless something else affects something else puts actual pressure on it, weight, whatever you want to call it. But an object in motion will stay in motion unless something is acted upon by another force. So
Hmm.
if you're moving and you have an ideal, you have a goal, you have something you're striving towards, the only thing that can stop it is an outside force that's someone else, something else that's affecting you. Which I mean, it could be anything. But at the end of the day, you started moving,
And let me
got the
ask you
ball
guys.
rolling.
Let me ask you guys this, and I'm gonna have Nick answer it. But honestly, what will it cost you to change? What will it cost? It may cost you the things in life that no longer serve you. Yeah, it may cost you some people. It may cost you different. You know, I don't even really know how to describe it. Different aspects of your life that no longer are there for you for the betterment of
I
yourself.
have I have a good example for you. I recently I've realized that I've been like honestly I've been getting the screen time. I don't know if y'all have this mostly on iPhones. I know it's on iPhones. I don't know if you have it on Android. Zach has an Android, but we get screen time notifications, and
Mm.
I've noticed I've spent 7 hours on my phone daily. Daily, that's fucking wild. And I sat there and I was like, what am I doing? I'm spending time on Instagram, on Facebook. I'm spending it on games I have on my phone, which I knew that I'd waste time on my phone playing games, but if I had them. But at the end of the day, I sat there and I was talking to my dad, and I was like, it's wild that of course I spend some of it on the doors and trying to build up the people that we're building community around. But I was like, how do I allocate my time better so that I can be more successful in the future? And he's like, we started talking about LinkedIn, and he's like, he showed me this his what he's in basically the top 1% of computer programmers in his field. And he was like, I get reached out to all the time, basically just to build these communication like paths between people. And he got invited to this. It's called a round table, where a whole bunch of communication professional or like technological computer professionals reached out to him. They started talking about what it's going to be like after the pandemic, or what they're doing, and how they can effectively be better at their jobs after this. What can they do to continually be better? And they sat at a round table, probably 20 of them on Zoom or whatever, and they just talked it out. And I was like, that's a genius. That's something genius. He's like, what's important is that you can reach out to professionals. You can reach out to these people that are high up in these business senses through LinkedIn. And I was like, damn, if I'm not spending more time on LinkedIn to try to become more successful, I think that's a path to success right there.
And for all you guys listening, if you haven't utilized LinkedIn as a social media platform, it's something that you definitely should do. It's very easy, very professional, very simplistic to operate,
Yeah.
and honestly,
Very
it can
positive.
say, very positive.
Yeah. And so like I haven't even effectively got into it yet. I've been allocating more time to it, which is great. But I've already made some really interesting connections. I'm trying to connect with business leaders, with top people, top executives, but this is where I feel like you can going to really build a community of really interesting people that I can base things off of. And that's where like I'm really starting my journey through that. And I think that that's really what's interesting about our journey through the doors is that we're continually finding outlets and different avenues that we have to actually open the door to, that we realized that we didn't even realize had been happening.
And you
And
never
it's
know,
always like,
man, until you sit back and you take a look. What's going on. You've got to become just a little bit of aware of what's going on around you. Because it all happens for the betterment of us, whether we see it or not. Whether you're losing people out of your life or more people are coming into it, it's one of those things where everyone has the ability to serve something to you. You know,
Yeah.
the question is are they here for a reason, or are they here for a season?
Ooh-wee.
Good
Damn right.
question.
But that's what's so interesting. I think there's so many avenues in any business, in any sense of what anyone's doing, whether it be skills, hobbies, whatever, that you open a door to something and you realize that there's so much more that needs to be done in that area. But I think I'm gonna add something real quick here, right here. I don't want to jump into more of this in conversation, but I want to jump into some ideas, just some interesting things that we can run by each other. Do we have any ideas that could help anyone specifically that's come over us recently, and that we might think would provide value to them? I think that'd be a really cool segment we can jump into right now.
Yeah, of course, of course. Struggles, guys. If you're going through something right now, I know, like Nick, there is so much shit going on in the world right now, man.
Damn right.
So much shit. But if you're one of those that are struggling with it, just reach out. Just reach out. Try to find yourself in it all, and realize that on the other side of all the pain and suffering, there's going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. And
Yeah.
honestly, I heard this quote, man, the other day, and it really kind of helped everything. It said, most people wait until something really bad happens to change. But if you in turn change in the happy in the now, it's going to be so much sweeter for you.
Well, I
We
mean,
don't
I
have
agree
to have,
completely.
we don't have to have all that pain and that suffering in order to change. Just go ahead and take that step, Just take it.
Yeah, completely. I think I mean, look, the most important thing you can do is be proactive. Being reactive always means you're behind.
Mhm.
That's a good
So
point. That's a good point.
so what do you think people can do, man? Like if they are in these no peace situations, what can they do to get out of them?
I mean, in a no peace situation, that means you're upset. That means you're angry. That means you're not okay in the situation you're in. I've been in, again, I told you about mine earlier. I think that you have to take a step back. Take a video of yourself, of the way you're feeling, of the way that the situation is going, and literally listen to it back over. And you'll either be like, okay, this is a situation I need to be in and need to deal with. This is a situation I don't need to be in. Or I'm a little bitch and I need to deal with this the proper way.
Damn
I
right.
think that you'll.
But you
Oh,
got to, man. Like we talked about in the struggle bus. Okay, you got to take responsibility for your own actions and get your ass
yeah.
up off the struggle bus, man, because we have the power to do it. It's willpower. They call it willpower for a reason, because you have to will yourself on. And it's easier in life, man, to give up than it is to make it. And if we can just put our feet in the ground and move forward, nothing's going to stop you. Just be persistent, and you guys will
Yeah.
accomplish whatever you want.
I agree. I think my tip and idea, the thing that I have, is going to go into something that I continually believe in. But I heard a really good story that plays into this. I was watching the podcast, listening to the podcast My First Million. It's a fantastic podcast about marketing and business and different things. And this guy, me and Zach were talking about it too. Is that basically this guy's trainer was talking about? He's like, what are your misgivings? What do you not believe in? What is upsetting you? What is making you feel like you can't achieve your goal? And he goes, I don't believe, I don't think I'm going to stick to my diet. I don't think I'm going to get where I want to be as in fitness and different things like this. But this applies to everything in life as well. And he said is, okay, so define your journey. So imagine me at the doors. We're talking about the doors. So right now, I believe we're at probably like a 4 out of 10, which is a good place.
Yep.
We've started our journey. We started amassing a community of people that are like minded and trying to build themselves up. I feel like we're putting out content regularly. We could always be doing better. We could always be working towards things. We're building a media company. We're doing all these things, but we're definitely not at 10. And he goes, okay, cool. So let's change the narrative. Let's change it to where let's name your 10 right now. My 10, we have a full conference with hundreds of speakers over 3 days that we MC as well as host and speak at, and we have a retreat going. We have a blown media company that's full careers now. Our podcast is something we love to do. We're continually meeting up and communicating with professionals and building a bigger community than we ever thought possible. We're living life. That's number 10. So now we're at 4. And what we can do is we love 4. I already love what I'm doing at 4, which is great. I'm trusting the process that I'm in, that we're in, to continually make it. So what's 5? You define what 5 is, and you realize this. Okay? Zach, if I'm going to go walk to the corner store to grab some Gatorade, am I worried on the way there that there's not going to be Gatorade?
Nope.
And why is that?
Because man, you don't want to put any sort of false notion towards it. It was like Nick was telling y'all about the Newton's laws. Energy is neither created nor destroyed. So if you're already thinking, oh well, there's not going to be any Gatorade in the store, guess what? There's a good possibility there might not be any Gatorade. But it's all about perspective, baby. Ain't that right, Nick? It's all about perspective.
Yeah,
If you're looking at it from a positive point, an optimistic approach, which I know for some people is very hard at times, but you're going to be able to bring out an elevated emotion. And
completely.
I'm not going to get too deep into this. If you guys want to do some more research into Dr. Joe Dispenza or,
Dr. Joe Dispenza, that's our guy.
or Dr. Wayne Dyer's another one, you can learn
Mm-hmm.
about those elevated emotions. But it's life is one of those things where it's all about your mindset. If you're out in the hot sun and you're working and you're constantly telling yourself, "Oh my God, it's hot, it's hot, it's hot. I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it." You're gonna eventually start to believe that. But your brain's very powerful, and the body adapts to whatever the brain actually tells it.
Yeah,
So if you're telling yourself, "Well, this isn't that bad. This isn't that bad," eventually, guys, it'll get a little bit easier. It's
yeah.
just how life is,
To
unfortunately.
put to put that in layman terms and just really short, what is short explanation is, you want to trust the process. If you're walking to the grocery store, you're not going to not expect them to have Gatorade, because you know that's what they supply themselves with all the time. So it's the same thing for the journey that you're taking, the journey that we're taking to the doors, your physical journey, whatever journey you're on. If you break it down like this, I fell in love with the process of doing this because Zach talked about it earlier. It's the same thing. Is that our whole goal is to affect one person. If we're doing that, if we're affecting that one person, even if it's us, we're doing a great job. So we're trusting that process and loving where we are in the moment. And it allows us to continually feel successful, as well as that we're doing something right in the moment that we're doing it. So we're falling in love with the process of being in 4, and falling in love with the process of taking that step to 5. And we're celebrating every small victory, because we know that at the end of the day, that we're going to stay vigilant, we're going to stay determined and unwavering in our ideals, and as well as the movement upon the successes we have. And by doing that, I know we're going to reach 10. I know we're going to reach that goal. So at the end of the day, that journey to the store, to the corner store, I ain't worrying about it, because I know I'm going to get there. And that's my little tip idea for you guys. But
And
I
there's no
think that
elevator to success, man. There's no
no.
elevator to success. You climb that ladder each rung at a time.
Zach, what is our fucking motto, bro?
You already know, bro. You already know.
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
That's what I'm talking about, man. And for you guys, just fucking do it. Whatever it is, just fucking do it.
Damn right. That's it. That's it. We ending. We're off. Guys, we're the developers of our own opportunities, reinforcing success, motherfuckers. And you better open some damn doors this week. Happy Labor Day. And be the best you that you can be today and tomorrow and the next day. We believe in you. Peace.
Peace.